A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
As Jesus was walking, he saw a man named Matthew sitting by the customs house, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. While he was at dinner in the house, it happened that a number of tax collectors and sinners came to sit at the table with Jesus and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why does your master eat with tax collectors and sinners?" When he heard this, he replied, "It is not the healthy who need the doctor, but the sick. Go and learn the meaning of the words. What I want is mercy, not sacrifice. And indeed, I did not come to call the virtuous, but sinners." From the lovely words spoken last night by Sister Perpetua and the previous evening by Father Brian, you know from those words how precious a reality hope is. Along with its two close relatives, faith and love, it plays a part in everyone's life, especially during these COVID-19 days. I dearly associate hope with a powerful word of St. John of the Cross. Where there isn't love, put love, and you will find love. My association is, where there is no hope, put hope, and you will find hope. In doing that, you will quickly find the words of the psalmist becoming real for you. "In God alone be at rest, my soul. My hope comes from him. He alone is my rock, my stronghold, my fortress." And it's fascinating what happens next for the psalmist. He says, "I stand firm." Standing firm is like an anchor. That's one of the great symbols of hope. I shall not be moved. The wonderful story of Mrs. Thompson is a practical example for me of this. It never ceases to touch me, even though I have heard it before. Mrs. Thompson was a primary school teacher. As she stood in front of her 5th class on the first day of school, she told them a lie. She looked at her pupils and told them that she loved them all equally. But that was impossible, because there in the front seat, slumped across the desk, was a little boy named Teddy Smith. Mrs. Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he didn't play with the other children, that his clothes were messy, and that he constantly needed a bath. He also could be quite unpleasant at times. It got to the point where Mrs. Thompson would actually take delight in marking his papers with a broad red pen, marking X, and at the top of the page writing failed. Now, part of her work was to review each child's past record. She deliberately put Teddy's off to the last. And when she reviewed his file, she got a real shock. Teddy's first class teacher wrote, "Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh. He does his work neatly and has good manners. He's a joy to be around." His second class teacher wrote, "Teddy is an excellent student, well liked by his classmates, but he is troubled because his mother has a terminal illness and life at home Must be a struggle. His third-class teacher wrote, "His mother's death has been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest, and his home life will soon affect him if some steps aren't taken." Teddy's fourth-class teacher wrote, "Teddy is withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends, and he sometimes sleeps in class." By now, Mrs. Thompson realized the problem, and she was ashamed of herself. She felt even worse when her students brought her Christmas presents wrapped in bright papers and beautiful ribbons, except for Teddy's. His present was clumsily wrapped in the heavy brown paper that he got from a grocery bag. Mrs. Thompson took pains to open it in the middle of all the other presents. Some of the children started to laugh when she found a bracelet with some of the stones missing, and a bottle that was 1/4 full of perfume. She stifled the children's laughter when she exclaimed how beautiful the bracelet was, putting it on and dabbing some of the perfume on her wrists. Teddy stayed back after school that day, just long enough to say, "Mrs. Thompson, today you smelled just like my mother used to." After the children left, she cried for nearly an hour. On that very day, she quit teaching, reading, writing, arithmetic. Instead, she began to teach children. Mrs. Thompson paid particular attention to Teddy. As she worked with him, his mind seemed to come alive. The more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. By the end of the year, Teddy had become one of the smartest children in the class, and despite her lie that she loved them all the same, Teddy became one of his teacher's pets. A year later, she found a note under her door from Teddy, telling her that she was the best teacher he had ever had in his life. The years passed by. Teddy kept in contact. In one of his letters, he said he had met this girl and they were going to get married. He explained that his father had died some years before, and he was wondering if Mrs. Thompson might agree to sit in the place at the wedding that was usually reserved for the mother of the groom. Of course, Mrs. Thompson did, and you guessed it, she wore the bracelet with the stones missing, and she made sure she was wearing the perfume that Teddy remembered his mother wearing on their last Christmas together. They hugged each other. Dr. Smith, for he was now a medical doctor, whispered in Mrs. Thompson's ear, "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson, for believing in me. Thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I could make a difference." Mrs. Thompson, with tears in her eyes, whispered back, "Teddy, you have it all wrong. You were the one who taught me that I could make a difference." Mrs. Thompson, by her encouragement, made a difference in the life of Teddy. She gave him hope. Jesus made a difference in the life of St. Matthew. He gave Matthew hope. In Matthew and Mrs. Thompson, we see what hope, love, and mercy are all about. And perhaps you can take this with you as you go your way In hope, you and I can make a difference to ourselves and to others. Where there isn't hope, put hope, and you will, with the help of God, find hope. May that become a reality in your life. Amen.